Yeah.
Welcome to the Friendly Geordies podcast on the eve of a very monumental election. However, we're going to be recording a live election result stream as well. So we're going to keep a lot of our commentary about the elections for this stream. However, we're going to briefly touch upon it. But firstly, Jordan, I am completely flipped now. Labor all the way, baby. Albo, bring 3 more years.
What did he do? Did he pay for his plane ticket? Now you like him?
No, dude. He's saying he's going to get rid of like a chunk of the HECS debts.
Oh, go Albo!
Baby.
Yeah, give me some of that. Give me some of that.
You brought it back in.
Finally, for the people. That's what I'm talking about.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm very optimistic about his chances from just that.
Dude, I have a lot of HECS
He's
debt.
never gotten a high five in the 3 years.
What has Peter done?
And for a selfless
Dude,
reason,
really,
too.
It's amazing. Like
Selfless.
Everyone here in Australia pretends like they're racked with American college debt, and then you say, "How much is your HECS?" 5,000.
30.
You got 30,000.
Over 30.
Bro, I got more
Yeah,
than
well,
that.
you shouldn't have gone to Macquarie.
I know, I shouldn't have.
I
You should
got
have gone to a
more
nice
HECS
Catholic
than that.
university.
Well, I
Well,
know.
you went to that as well.
I did
That's
vote.
why I got 30 grand.
Yes.
All I'm saying is we need to invigorate the campaign, my friend.
Yeah, let's invigorate.
We're not losing this. We're gonna win this one.
So wait, he's going to forgive it all?
No.
Unfortunately,
He's
I
forgiving
wish.
like 20%, I think.
Still
No, that's what
amazing.
he's doing now. So he's gonna cut out a little bit, but if he gets elected again, it's gonna be a bigger chunk.
Yeah, half now, half
Dude,
later.
Come
He
on.
knows how it
sold,
works.
sold. Finally.
Wow, finally.
And
For all these years.
and a
At
selfless
least-
act on my
at
end,
least
if
a
I may.
policy, you know.
Finally,
That's
Miss
cool.
Love is not going to ride into the ballad Gavin McKinnon.
I watched Gavin debate Destiny. Jesus Christ, that is two very intense.
F up individuals.
Yeah.
Why are we watching?
I just turned up on my thing. I'm like, and I was like, I hope that side of the internet.
Gavin's new slogan is "Make America Hate Again."
Yeah,
What's he saying?
I think he's.
What does that mean?
What's
It sounds like a pretty hateful place.
Miss Love,
I don't think it
explain it
needs
to
that.
us.
I think he's just been like, we're just pussies, all right? We used to be ballsy and we're pussies, so we have to hate. Hating is healthy. You know how you get over a bad situation? You fight, okay? He's all about fighting and shit. He likes fighting, and I guess, right?
Well, you don't have to guess. I think he loves a competition.
Huh?
Dude, he definitely loves. He believes in the clash of civilization.
Yeah, he's
to his core.
He's just a
Yeah.
Scottish psycho that just like wants to punch
Likes to
on. He wants to
beef.
punch on constantly.
And he's angry that he can't.
Yeah, and like he thinks
Fair
everyone's a pussy. Yeah,
Well,
Yeah, and we are.
that's not a
He
policy,
is
but
definitely right about that.
Yeah, but it's
Hey,
not
hey,
a policy.
We deviated from the topic. The
Sorry,
HECS
sorry,
debt.
sorry. Yeah.
What do you think about the policy, Jordan? You think it's a good idea, bad idea?
I would have to look into it more. I'm not particularly adverse to the levels of HECS that we have in Australia. I do think that if you are getting a tertiary education, I do not want the Australian taxpayer to pay for me to sit in and be babysat for 4 years while there was a tutor saying, and what's the difference between liberalism and realism? Realism's more real. You pass. Okay, into the workforce.
Hey,
What
we-
are they paying for
we
in
pay.
that?
Hey, we pay for
You
Centrelink.
had the wrong answer, bro.
What?
Say it's really good.
What's really
We pay
good?
for Centrelink.
Yeah,
What?
we pay
Taxes
our
pay for
taxes, bro.
Centrelink.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? What's
We're
going on?
saying
Centrelink,
people-
Why are
Centrelink.
we talking about Centrelink?
Because that's also tax funded.
Yeah. What's the point?
Well, they're both like you just like some tax funding and not other tax funding.
No, look, I think that when it comes to the welfare state, some things are legitimate forms of welfare and some things are just a bunch of annoying art students
Sure.
saying, why do I have $30,000? Because you chose a shit degree, like I
true.
did.
That's
It's
true.
fine, but you should live with your shitty decisions. I think in a fair world, what should really happen, I actually do agree with the Liberals on this because they're usually down this path, where they say that free for STEM. STEM should be
Right.
free. You should be encouraging as many Asian nerds to pick up
Yeah.
engineering and maths
That's
as
more
possible.
important. It's more important
And
than
you saw it, Miss, when you were in university, don't you remember that you went into all of the degrees that we were in? You sat there and you were like, dude, This is daycare center for 20-year-olds.
It is.
It's not a degree.
It's barely a degree. I'll admit that.
Again,
my degree.
The fact that Miss Love knows more about politics than the politics lecturer.
Expert.
Surely there is better uses of our tax dollars than that. And I would posit that a better use of it is the guys that are building a fucking rover robot to Mars that Miss Love got so scared by it that he thought, oh my God, I got to study for this thing when he walked out of it. That's a degree. That's tertiary education right there.
True.
Building a robot that can withstand Mars conditions is something I want to pay for. I do not want to pay for somebody to sit there and brainwash the next generation into voting for the Greens. Why should we pay for that?
You're not paying for it.
It's my same argument that I have for the ABC.
You're not paying for it. Albo is, so shut up.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's all or nothing. Either you like subsidize TAFE, all uni.
TAFE should be subsidised.
So
I love the free TAFE.
So you're
placement.
just singling out
Arts
BAs.
degrees. BAs.
Me and you.
Bullshit
us.
degrees.
You're singling. You're fucking us.
I'm fucking us. We should be fucked. We should definitely be fucked.
I mean, it's
as
probably
hard in the arse.
How about this?
Well,
You're right.
They should double our heads.
No.
And then give
How about this?
free
How about
out to
this?
the
How about
Asians
this?
for Ford
How about
Street.
this? They'll leave our our generation, and then from then on,
Grandfather it in?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Is it?
Well, I got duped a bit, dude. I was told that it was, a great degree.
That's on us for being
No,
so
it's not.
stupid that we take on a 4-year commitment. I took on a 4-year commitment. This is word of mouth. One of those gay friends that Miss Love was paying out before the pod, see the up late, get your subscriptions to the podcast to hear that very thorough, very interesting conversation about why our accents are a slightly bit different. But
Hell yeah.
one of those said to me, yeah, do my degree. And I said, why? And then he said, because you get to go overseas for a year. Why should hardworking people pay for me to have a gap year?
I mean,
It's stupid.
I mean,
One second.
yeah.
One thing I should make it clear: the government ain't paying for it. Like, you are not paying for anyone's degree. This is a debt, which, by the way, has interest.
That's true.
So even if your debt, if part of your debt is forgiven, doesn't mean that that you're not gonna have to pay back. In fact, you end up with the interest might accumulate even more. Particularly because they're also talking about raising the minimum threshold for which payments are deducted, which means if you don't reach that debt, no matter if your debt goes up, you're probably going to have that debt for the rest of your life. And you're going to pay interest over that debt. So the government or the taxpayer isn't paying for the debt. At one point in Australia, I guess you used to be able to, that used to happen, but not anymore. So now the question is, all of these banks that are making big bucks over these students, is their profitability really that important for society? How much extra do they need to earn on this? They're just getting everyone in Australia that went to uni paying interest.
Yeah, but don't you think that that's kind of the same thing as saying, oh, well, all these credit card companies are getting heaps of money off people that decided to go out and buy DSLR cameras when they couldn't afford it?
Well,
why do they have to get so much?
Look, I'm not saying that attitude is not right, where you buy stuff that you don't really need and you build up your credit. I understand that. But that also, we understand, is a human behavior. So the credit card companies, for instance, are also evil. They're not a good example of how things work.
No, they're evil, but I think that
evil.
there has to be at some point a buyer beware. And I feel like, yes, you can sit there and say I was conned, but at the end of the day, I was conned because I'm an idiot.
Buyer beware is good for general concept of credit. But the credit card company that entices people to get them, encourages them to use that credit card, keeping in minute font the interest rates and how they accrue over time, where you've missed one payment, how the other payment's going to add up. Though that math is insane. It's predatory. Where if you miss a few payments, you might not even be you'll spend most of your life paying the interest. You won't even get to the principal itself. And at that point, it's government's responsibility to tell credit card companies, you can't do that. You need to income test. You need to first ensure that the person you're giving this credit card to, or the limit of the credit card, can actually afford it. They do that to some extent, but they're really just trying to go around it. And then you also tell them that no, the interest rate doesn't double every time they miss the payment. you need to make sure that a certain level of interest you can take, which is reasonable. Anything over that, you're not allowed to do.
There shouldn't be interest on uni loans. That's nuts.
That's the other thing. There shouldn't be interest on uni loans. You should only be paying your principal.
Yeah.
Now the question is, are the banks the ones that get these HECS, or is this kind of like does the government get it?
No, well, the banks get the money.
The banks get the money, not the government.
No,
fucking
the
banks.
government just acts as a guarantor for these loans, because in case that they're never able to pay, let's say they never even earn the money to pay it, the government acts as a guarantor that will take care of your debt. So it's like a Obamacare type situation happening over there.
No, well, now I'm not as much of a fan. I thought that it was that the government had figured out a way of preying on the stupid for extra revenue.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, no.
Yeah, now that it's completely in the hands of banks.
Yeah,
But still,
Like,
I stand by that I'm an idiot.
I mean, I get what you're saying. But I don't want to pay that money. Come on. It's too much.
In fact, like, honestly, Albo should stand on this. Like, just not even like forgiving debt or reducing debt. Just no more interest on on student loans. Or at least no more interest on undergrad student loans.
Yeah.
In postgrads or something, I understand that. But if it's undergrad, just pay off your principal.
I would put it the other way around, really. I get the government to pay for postgrad. Postgrad sounds like you're doing something. Yes, there's going to be a few professional students that fall into the mix, but there's also going to be a lot of marine biologists.
I do get what you're saying, though. Like, we shouldn't be subsidizing philosophy majors.
I really don't want to see that. I don't like the idea of me getting paid for my
and like I'd be lying if I said that I did my degree because I was like, oh, this is the best chance at employment. It was like, this is the only thing I can probably pass. That's why I did my degree. I specifically went to uni being like, fuck this. I'm just gonna
from the chat, it's not banks, maybe it's the ATO that does it. But it's the same concept.
ATO?
Yeah.
Look, if it's the ATO, I'm happy with it. I think that they should prey on us. I think it's exactly my same argument that I have with pokies. I would have zero problem with pokies if they were taxed at 100%.
Definitely.
That would be fine.
But that's a really... pokies are a... real life
cigarettes, drugs, it's all the same thing. I think it's like if you want to make these stupid decisions,
drugs and literal education.
Yeah, exactly. Pokies, dude.
I'm putting it on the same level. You're as stupid as someone going to the pokies if you're getting an arts degree.
Pokies are
What's the point?
No way, dude. That's
come
pokies
on.
Are
at least at the pokies, you might get some fucking money out of it.
I mean, he's kind of right, but like, dude, the pokies can't get a more literal embodiment of like gambling. You are literally flipping a coin. Like that is not what people go to uni for. Like that's not. It is uni is supposed to be.
People go to uni because they were scammed into the idea, or not scammed into the idea, but it's just I think the world has changed since when you go to university and you're guaranteed a degree, like a better employment.
It's changed while we were there.
In practice, it works. I don't know about the stats because of the election. I was looking up the US ones. If you went to like uni versus not going to uni, irrespective of what degree you did, what you studied, your life chances are so much greater. In fact, in the US, if you went to uni, you're probably going to average out around $80,000 a year. If you didn't go to uni, standard $20,000.
Really?
It's a $40,000 difference.
But not BAs, not arts degrees.
Well, I don't know the exact the difference. Like this is a lump sum, but BAs are also better off than non-BAs.
You know what I think that boils down to? I think that is what I was talking about last week, where it's if you go to university, it's kind of like a more POV version of going to an elite private school. Yeah. It's just you talk the talk.
It is that.
And so then you get a bunch of bullshit jobs.
It's meeting people, right?
That's what happens.
And
look, honestly, okay, I will say this. The one advantage that I did have of going to university, I didn't learn anything in my degree, apart from when I did go overseas, ironically, and I did take that out. And so, I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot with that argument. But that I did learn something about politics there because it was in Korean, and so the guy could just teach whatever he wanted because the Korean dean didn't know what he was saying.
Right.
And then, other than that, I think that the only other advantage that I got was the fact that I met some guys that were in media and they saw my YouTube channel and they were like, big fan, man. And so they just wanted to help out.
Right.
And so I did meet connections as a result of that. But see, this is again this whole thing of like, that's what angers me about paying for these things, that you are paying for a bunch of snooty assholes that think that they're too good. Like myself, I'm totally in this category, too good to get a trade or something, which is what I should have been doing mathematically.
Yeah.
And they're paying for you to get a better life. It's annoying.
Yeah, but it is also a cultural thing because, like, my parents would have been so pissed off if I didn't go to uni because for them it was like you have to go to uni because that's how you get qualified. But it was kind of a lie. It was a lie.
They went to Soviet university.
Yes,
that's why.
Exactly.
They went to Soviet Union.
Yes. Yeah.
SU.
Yeah, SU. Yeah.
They went to SU.
You get some racquetball. Yeah. Yeah, but that's the thing. I wish that
again,
I had
university there.
Yeah.
Look, if arts degrees were like they were in the Soviet Union and they made you read everything from Tolstoy to Milton Friedman to Chechnikov, that'd be cool. That actually would probably be a worthy arts degree. But an arts degree here is read this excerpt from my book so I get royalties from the book.
It wasn't that bad.
It was. That was my degree.
That wasn't
it was just a
mine.
bunch of tutors and lecturers saying you have to go buy this shitty photocopy collection thing that had their stuff in it.
Really?
And their stuff sucked.
Hey, I did African politics and globalization. I did the politics of terrorism.
Wow. That must have been so helpful in your life.
Yeah, no, it wasn't at all. But I mean, I like, what was I supposed to do, you know?
Someone said HECS only increases by inflation, so the value of loan doesn't go down as years go on. But that's still unfair. Like, what if someone said that that would be the case with your mortgage too? Like, let's say you bought a house for $600,000.
Yeah.
And so that's your principal. You probably end up paying about the same amount of money in your interest over the lifetime. Now, if someone said that that original $600,000 principal sum is going to be adjusted for inflation. So by the time you pay off your loan in 30 years, that $600,000 is $1.5 million.
Yeah.
And then you pay interest on that would be considered unfair.
Yeah.
But with for some reason, with education, it's okay. And it's being used as a point. We're like, it's just inflation. It's like, no, the uni already got paid. They used up that money. It's not like that money was sitting in an account and is being slowly used by them. If you've used it, why am I paying inflation over it? It's used commodity. It's done.
Yeah.
I
don't know. It's I've brainwashed myself into my self-help point of if you want to get an arts degree, save the money and buy a library card at the university.
I wish I did
a bunch
that.
of books
If someone told me now, if someone told me now, like, do you regret it? I'd be like, I enjoyed my time there, but in terms of the money I spent, I regret it. I much would have rather
end up doing an office job, then it's completely useless. But if you think of yourself in an office setting,
no, dude,
you're
gonna
need it, bro. Because like a lot of the job applications, just go on Seek.com and look. They all require a uni degree. Very few I would see that aren't. Like if you go into trades and stuff, obviously then it doesn't matter. Yeah. If that's your angle, like you're a kid and you know that I want to be a Sparky or whatever, then you don't need to do any of this. But if you imagine yourself in a white collar situation, I would recommend getting it. And then it's easy to regret it afterwards. Like, oh, what a waste of money while you're sitting at your job.
That's true. Don't you think, though, generally, especially in Australia, Sky News is right. It's probably better to get a trade. I don't think the stats would be the same in Australia as they would be in the US.
No, I think that's true.
I think monetarily it would make more sense in Australia. And that's fine, too.
And I feel like most guys, honestly, when I look back at my life, I feel like I would have had a much more satisfying life being a tradie.
Probably.
You're probably really nice fixing a door every day.
Yeah.
Quite fulfilling.
Yeah, but like you can't do that, dude. Your attitude,
no. I'm way too much of a cultural homosexual for this.
You cannot be a trader.
No,
I don't think I could even be one.
You could have only done this. There's
all
nothing else you could have done.
Which I suppose is why I'm so down on degrees, because I did not need a degree for this. All it did was hinder my progress.
But I didn't either, because I got a job out of uni in media purely through family connections. Had nothing to do with my degree.
Yeah. And
then, like, literally, what was the point of my degree? Like, I traded a guitar pedal with this other dude. That was cool. And I met one mate that was, like, I'm still friends with. One.
You know what else is a really... If you think about this for even a second, $30,000.
It's a lot of money.
To go to university. I swear to God, you would get a way better education if you hired a life coach for like $200 a week
I kind of agree.
And
to
then
be honest.
he just kept you on task
Yeah.
and said, make sure you go to the library and study.
And if
that would be like actually way, because he would psychologically freak you out to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas when I would go into university all the time and they'd say, have you done the readings? And I'd say, no. And then they'd be kind of grumbly and like, you're going to pass me anyway. This is a degree factory.
He's kind of right though. It's true. I can't deny that. If I got like if I got more out of it, then I'd disagree. But I really didn't. I didn't. I saw Tame Impala play in my O week. That was cool.
Yeah. And again, it's a $200 ticket.
I could have, Then it was like a $50 ticket.
There we go. So you could have saved 30 grand.
Yeah.
I think that's on unis. Though.
Closest I got to him.
Like they shouldn't just pass people, even if it's an Oz degree.
I mean, they don't though. They don't.
They do though.
Do they?
They do.
My degree, did I ever tell you?
I got scared into studying.
I got my coordinator.
Yeah.
She accidentally CC'd me into a
no.
email.
No. What?
Because I said, I don't want to do Italian. I failed Italian.
Hey, me too.
Yeah. But
Hey, how's this? I didn't
again.
have to do it.
Huh?
I didn't have to. I chose it as like
Chose
extra. I had to do an extra 6 months of uni because of that.
Because you chose it. Yeah, I did the extra 6 months, but I did the extra 6 months because I wanted to stay into the podcast thing, and I was saying, I don't want to do that again. Can I just do some other history course or something?
Right.
And then they said, okay, we will change the entire syllabus of your degree so that you don't have to do Italian. And then I wrote back 2 weeks later and said, I forgot to sign up to that. Can I get something else? And then she wrote to the other, like the sub-coordinator, this man is making a mockery of this degree. I still passed, dude.
Oh my God.
Passed.
How?
Because they don't care. They have to pass. I'll tell
think
you
I
this,
tried
there
harder
were
than
people
you.
in my degree that couldn't speak English that passed. Let
Really?
alone not passing Italian. They wouldn't have passed English. And they won. And they
What
still
was your
got it.
degree? International
Studies.
Studies, whatever the fuck that means.
It says politics.
I think I studied harder than you at uni. I like freaked out about it, you know?
I did not freak out about uni. I did not take
he
it
didn't
seriously
have to
at
freak
all.
out to pass.
Well, I did a
You
BA in media. I don't
pass.
think, guys. I wonder if my degree would have been the same. Who knows?
How did you go with? Did you get a bunch of D's or no?
For undergrad or postgrad?
Undergrad.
Yeah.
Bunch of D's.
Undergrad was like because there was a lot of art. Dude, I failed in one thing, and for my law degree, and it's not on my record because it luckily happened during COVID, and it's very embarrassing because it's something that
Italian.
No, it's like in law degree, there's a lot of things that are tough that you could fail in, but the thing that people consider to be the easiest, I failed in that. That was
What
Because
was
you didn't
it?
take it seriously.
no, because I don't want to say it because I failed my ethics course, bro. I failed ethics.
Hell yeah.
Of course you
That's
did.
sick.
Man from Pakistan
Well done.
fails ethics.
Which is ridiculous because, like, if you say that to someone that was at law school, they would laugh.
Yeah. Because it's
It'd be
just like,
like
is
that.
it legal to bribe the judge? Yes or no?
Partial,
And then
yes.
Ali's Pakistani judge kicks in. Oh, come on, man. Surely. How can it be illegal if they don't know?
and he's
It's
right.
but luckily for me, this happened just as COVID hit. And so all classes went like online and it was freaky. So they said like, if anyone fails in this term only,
You get amnesty.
no, it won't show up on your record, but you'll have to do the course again, which was lucky for me because
Oh my
I
god.
failed my ethics. So- but it's not on my record or anything, which is awesome.
Damn,
So
that's
on
what?
my-
That's
none of my
lucky.
degree, like my transcripts, I didn't fail in anything.
Pure D's.
Not pure D's, I'll be honest. With law degree, it was mostly
To
credits.
quote
But
Rich
undergrad,
Boy,
there was a
throw
lot of
some
D's.
D's on it. You got some D's.
Damn.
I got
Sounds like
got
I
a
had
couple
the
of Ds.
hardest run at uni, and I worked the hardest and got.
It's weird. I don't know why you took it seriously, especially when
don't
you were like
I don't know.
Catholic university.
Yeah.
Why did you care?
I don't know. It's just like seemed like pressure or something. You got to do
I think
it.
it was just because you didn't want to get beaten by Tim.
Yeah, that. Yeah. Well, he did beat me, which I found out
exactly.
later. His dad was writing the essays.
Yeah.
Who is a professor, but yeah. But I
Look, honestly, I
Yeah.
think the path that I took in life, I think the last 2 years of my university degree were extremely valuable. But it was because I didn't take it seriously at all, and I took the library really seriously.
Yeah, interesting.
I just think...
Did you do a year in Korea?
Huh?
A year in Korea?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's pretty cool.
I think that if you
That's heaps cool.
have an attitude of self-learning instilled into you,
Yeah.
university isn't necessary. You would get a much better education, self-educated yourself, because you would have a very, very unique set of educational tools in your head as a result of that, as opposed to studying these piss-poor, syllabuses that are pretty much really just designed, like our degree, Ali, was pretty much designed for us to be low-level bureaucrats in Canberra.
Yeah.
Which, let's be honest, you wouldn't need. You go there and then they'd say, just tick these boxes. I ticked the wrong one. that would be most.
Now
we
I have to go back to the fax machine.
Yes.
Are you happy with yourself? No. Good. Think about it.
Now, take a 2-week paid vacation to the Telstra Museum, and I want to report on all of the old telephones that look exactly like this. Okay? If they're a little bit more advanced than that.
Consider it done.
Boys,
I know it would be with this. This is the best 2 weeks of my life.
we've got to talk about the U.S. election as well. So let's quickly get some segments out of the way. The second one, Jordan, I want to get your view on. Stephen Miles, unopposed, elected Queensland Labor leadership. Do you think
As he should be.
Well, he just lost an election.
Yeah.
Same guy.
But he didn't lose anywhere near as hard as what was predicted. And that's a W.
You think so?
Yeah. Especially because it shows that he's an extremely effective campaigner. And Stephen Miles was an attack dog. It was kind of hard for him to be Mr. Positivity to begin with, but he was able to change that, which shows that he's got a lot of versatility and range. He's very hungry. He wants that job. And on top of that, David Crisafulli will start buckling very quickly. And
but isn't there like obviously it's not a rule or anything, but isn't there like conventional wisdom that like if you lose an election, time to step away and get to give someone else a go?
Yeah.
But I guess
I don't agree with that. Don't you think? Okay, listen to this. First off, Ali,
Vape?
you've got it. Don't you think? Number one, if Keating stayed on as opposition leader, he would have trounced Howard in the 98 election. Would have trounced him because Kim Beazley nearly did it, and Kim Beazley was nowhere near as effective at being an opposition leader as Paul Keating would have been.
He was sick, but I like Beazles.
I don't know why you did.
I just liked him.
It's just because he was fat.
Yeah, that's the main reason. Fat and nice.
Isn't that incredible? And Kim Beazley has won the meme vote before memes existed.
I was in year 6.
Well, does that mean you want Clive Palmer to be the next prime minister?
Huh?
No, because he's not nice.
He's not nice.
I said fat and nice.
Jolly fat Santa Claus. He was a nice cuddly bear.
He was a nice
But that's
guy.
the whole thing. You should not be a nice cuddly bear when you're opposition leader. When you're opposition leader, you need to tear people's heads off.
Bulldog.
Got to be a
That's what you
bulldog.
gotta be.
You got to be an attack dog constantly. No one would have done it better than Paul Keating. Paul Keating was designed for the job of opposition leader. He should have just been an opposition leader.
Yeah.
That's what he should have been.
You're saying if he
So
remained.
he would have won that.
He should have remained.
He should have remained.
Yeah.
I think that Kevin Rudd, if he stayed on as opposition leader when he was ousted, he would have won the 2016 election easily. He was still really liked by the public.
Yeah.
And he was also, he's got a good sense of the electorate and what should be focused on and what shouldn't, which again is indicated by the fact that if Julia Gillard stayed on as Prime Minister, they would have lost 25 more seats. Kevin Rudd just being there.
Ended misogyny.
That's true.
Yes, well, there's positives and minuses to all leaders, clearly. And as we all know, the only reason that Kevin Rudd was in there was to take down a brave woman. But there was the unintended positive side effect, you know. It's just one of those Nixon scenarios where he really, really got them out of a tight spot. And that's what Stephen Miles has done. So I don't agree with this idea of, oh, yeah, once that they're in opposition, step aside and put some new generation blood in. Why?
Yeah, fair enough.
Why?
Yeah.
Particularly, to be fair, definitely not in Stephen Miles' case, because he was doomed to lose as soon as he was coming in. So he was one of those sacrificial lambs that everyone knew was going to lose. And to his credit, he didn't lose as badly as he should have, really.
No.
So, yeah, fair enough.
Not even close. Remember, there was a point. I remember talking to a pollster and I said, this was like maybe 2 months before the election, and I said, what is it looking like with internal polling? And the pollster said, forget saving the furniture, focus on saving a chair.
Oh, shit.
In other words, focus on saving one seat.
Hectic.
There was a point in internal polling where they thought that they would have one seat.
How many have they got?
Yeah, they thought that like WA was going to happen, but this time in the Liberal
In
Party,
Queensland.
so, yeah.
But how many? They lost by the Libs won by a majority, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how many seats did they
And
retain?
they only
27.
won that majority because so many people voted early.
Right.
Almost a third of the electorate voted early.
Why
So-
does that change anything?
Because in the last 2 weeks, Robbie Katter came out and said, that's it, I'm making abortion an issue day one. And so that freaked out all the chicks. And so they
Right.
started voting for Stephen Miles.
Right.
So if people didn't early vote, Stephen Miles probably would have forced them into minority government. That is a massive accomplishment from where they were.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I
Well,
think
there you have it. The
not
Libs won
controversial.
Queensland. You heard it here
and
first.
Miles definitely deserves another go.
Miles deserves another go. And also, I think that he's got a good chance of thoroughly defeating the LNP next time around. You know, I think anyone who is the Labor leader is going to win in 2028. But Stephen Miles has proven to be the most effective campaigner we have seen probably since Kevin Rudd. I can't think
I
of
thought you were
anyone who
gonna
has
say
run a better
Probably
campaign.
since Kennedy,
Since Kennedy.
since Lincoln.
Since the guy that barely scraped in.
Yeah. All right, look, we have another thing that we could talk about, but we can't skip it. House prices in Sydney are cooling off, it seems, and they seem to be cooling off in a few places. You want to talk about that, or do you want to just switch to the election?
Not really.
Okay.
Let's talk about what really
Yeah,
matters.
cooling off. It's like just a meager 7
now-
million
okay,
for a
well,
fucking dilapidated shed in Erskineville.
it-
Good
it-
times.
What does this mean for the investment portfolio? Yeah, go on.
It did decrease by 0.2%, so I think we keep it for next week.
Jesus.
But dude, you brought up Kevin Rudd. Do you think he's going to be unemployed soon? What's the go?
Well, do you? Your opinion's more important.
Well,
My
look-
opinion hasn't changed. My opinion hasn't changed since 2022.
All right, okay. So for those of you watching right now, the election is tomorrow, and so we're on the election eve, and we don't know obviously who's won. Just in context, if you see this later. Now, I have been saying openly, which I didn't want to, but openly that I think Trump will win this election.
Shit.
However, I don't know if he will or if he won't. Like the new Iowa poll, for those of you that have been following this, Iowa poll, which should have been a safe Trump state, has this shock poll is showing that Kamala has like a 4 or 5 point lead or something.
Right.
Something pretty insane.
Shit.
So the thing then, it puts doubts into your head whether these, few swing states that are supposed to call the election, are they actually the ones that are going to call the election, or there's going to be upsets here or there? Because if there's upsets in non-swing, what we consider to be non-swing states, it changes the maths altogether.
Yeah.
Having said that, I still think Trump will win.
Shit.
That's my...
Why is that?
Just I think I've mentioned this to you before. Like, it all boils down to the polls seem that they're neck and neck, right? So there's nothing separating them. Historically, if there's out of the two candidates, whose fans are more likely to not admit that they support them in polls?
Right.
And so if there is a contingent of Trump voters that are not openly admitting, or at least not responding to them in polls, that would put Trump over the edge. Having said that, I was reading this too, which again put this in doubt, that the pollsters have accommodated for the silent Trump voter, apparently. So the split polls of 50-50 or whatever, 47-47, allegedly accounts for a certain percentage of people that are shy Trump voters.
All right.
So I don't know. For that reason, I said Trump is probably going to win. And then something that I noticed early on, which people weren't, didn't account for, but now everyone does, which is that I felt that the minority vote was going to split and Trump is going to get some of that, particularly, like I've been saying, black men and Latinos in general. So that's what my opinion was based on. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're missing something. Maybe there's like a certain contingent of voters that are going to behave very unpredictably, which has happened in the past. It's not uncalled for, in which case it changes everything. But I'm still going to stick with Trump.
You.
Hectic. On me? Oh, the spotlight. Oh, so much pressure. Oh. Stop looking at me.
Get a zoom in on him.
Look, the thing is, it's so close. Honestly, my shitting is just waning this time. It's so hard. I'm not certain. I'm definitely not certain either way. But I'll just go with, like, Jordan kind of convinced me. He gave me a bunch of factoids that would lead me to believe that Kamala will win.
What are those facts? Tell us what those factoids were.
Early voting, right? Early votes are predicting already.
Historic early votes this time around.
But
how is that? Is that wait?
But basically that, and
why
like,
is that gonna go in?
well, it's looking more towards her, the early votes, right?
We don't know what people have voted.
Okay, well,
No, we don't know what they're voting, but we do know that there's more women turning out than men, which means
That's a
Kamala's
big factor.
winning.
but look, I'll just say, I still, if I gun to my head, I'd also say Trump will win. But
Why?
I don't want him to
Why?
win. But why? It seems to me that the Trump sort of all of his contingency, the variety that he has, seem to be more doomsday-y about the fact that if Kamala wins, then like life is over, like America's gone. And I think that like that sort of more radical perspective usually, a radical perspective is a radical result. And it's like, I think that perspective will incumbent like more of his base to come out and vote. Like, I don't think a Trump voter is going to forget or be like, it's not going to happen. They're fucking fired up. So like, as they usually are.
Are they? This is a question that even someone who is calling for a Trump victory is also thinking about hard. The thing is, for Trump, what Trump in his ideal scenario is hoping for is this like contingent of new Gen Z, because like the old people, the old whites who are going to vote for him, that already is settled. But this new contingent of Gen Z millennials who usually don't vote, but this time around because of social media and stuff, they're into it.
Yeah,
but they're notoriously so lazy. They never actually get off their couch.
It's not going to be that lazy.
On the
That's
other
so
hand,
lazy,
especially with early voting.
It's very lazy.
Very lazy.
But I
women
just
on
see
the other
some
hand
of the
tend to be a lot less lazy.
right.
Like,
well, that's a good point.
Women vote more than men do.
Right? Really?
Yeah.
I guess it just
Women
comes
vote
down
more
to
than
like,
men, and also you do need to understand this in that Iowa poll. And I was talking to Ali about this before.
I might be fried. Yeah.
It's dead battery.
Oh yeah.
A lot of old people are switching over to Kamala because this is something we are men in our 30s,
20s.
my mistake, 21 forever,
Late 20s.
early 20s,
Early 20s.
Phew.
Teens.
And as a result, our feeds are filled with a bunch of Kill Tonys and Joe Rogan clips that are going to be sitting there painting this picture of Trump's everywhere, everybody supporting Trump, Trump's the winner. And that's purely because of the exact demographic that he's talking about.
That's a huge demographic.
Even if I agree with you, let's say I agree with you, right? That's why we're thinking that. But I looked at the study by ResearchGate, which showed the overall social media presence of Democrats and overall Republican-inspired presence. So this includes different podcasts, people making all sorts of content. And just in terms of numeric value, the Republican or Trump social media is much larger than Kamala's social media.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that doesn't surprise me at all.
It's about 2/3 of what Trump's. If Trump is 3-on-3, Kamala's so Democratic inspired social media was 2. So
Also-
just numerically, it's lower.
Also,
even
Joe
if our
Rogan,
feeds are
dude,
dominated by
Joe
women.
Rogan's reach is massive. Like, I don't think you can underestimate that.
Yeah, but it's a demographic that if you want to reach, it's not a great, as Ali's pointing out, it's not a great demographic to reach. What you want is old people.
Right.
And
Yeah,
the thing
okay.
is, and I think that old people are right about it when I think about it from their perspective. Dude, Trump scares the shit out of old people.
How many
fair
are there?
enough, he's scary.
Are there more
He's a
oldies?
very scary. Look, we are just brainwashed in an age of he's a meme. That's funny. It's funny that the president is funny.
Yeah.
That is not how old people see the world.
Yeah.
Dude, depends
Old
on the
people
old
like
person.
boring people.
No,
Old
he's.
pe- depends on the old person. And
Of course, it depends on the old
But
person.
generally, he's
people
right.
are
Generally, he's
like-
right. Generally, he's
like
right.
when Trump won in 2016, there was a lot of old people that voted for him, and
Yeah,
the
exactly.
concerns were
But the thing is-
similar at the time.
But the thing is, old people still have a sense of civic duty that we just don't.
Yeah, and that civic duty in the U.S. means vote Trump.
No, it
Like,
doesn't.
their idea-
That means that you have to understand this. Okay, Ali, this is a stat that I was absolutely shocked by, but it makes so much sense when you hear it out. The average American voter in the 70s, so around, I suppose, the Nixon era, if they identified as partisan, they were far more likely to vote for the other side than people who claim that they're independents now. You understand? You know why that is? It's because people from that era had this idea of like, well, I'm a Republican, but John F. Kennedy has some very inspiring ideas of going to the moon, and I think that America should shoot for the stars. They have that understanding of the world. They're from they're a completely different breed of
Yeah,
human
it's
being
true.
than we are.
Yeah.
And so like this whole thing of like, okay, I get it that in 2016, they went out, maybe even 2020, they went out and they voted for Trump because they are Republicans and they think that the Republicans are better at managing the economy or whatever they have in their heads for it. But then, things like him, and you can see it with undecideds. I've seen undecideds polled on this time and time again in focus groups. You see the January 6th riot scared the fuck out of old people. And then on top of that, the fact that Donald Trump refuses to admit that he lost the election, that scares them.
Yeah.
That freaks them out because in their mind, things like democracy and admitting that you lost the race and conceding and like remember that old guy? Remember the fucking I can't remember the guy, the talk show host, but he put Bernie on his show and then his first question was, have you called Hillary?
Charlie Rose.
Why haven't you called Hillary? Like this is how old they're so much more noble than we are.
Definitely, yeah.
And like things like for instance, it's either I think it was Arizona where McCain was from. McCain is a very respected individual in Arizona for right reasons. He's a vet. He was a guy that kind of, what old people. This is why everyone always says, and you see all these social media guys here saying, why are they always talking about working across the aisle with the Republicans? It doesn't work. It's so smug. But it's because old people like the idea. Because the other thing is, back in the day, in the 70s, up until Reagan, really, where Democrats and Republicans were going to go down on a bill, it kind of just mattered on their character. Like, it wasn't this, like, block thing of them saying, like, no one is going to vote for Obama's Obamacare plan. Like, if that was passed in the 70s, there would be a bunch of Republicans that would have voted for it,
Yeah.
And so they still understand that, and they think that that's how, like, it should work. That's the imprint that they have in their head.
Diplomacy.
And so that person is much more likely to switch when they see that someone's character is truly revealed. And so they probably, even when they did vote for Trump back in the day, constantly, over and over again, they were constantly complaining about how brash he is, how rude he is, how arrogant he is, but they held their nose because he's a Republican and Republicans are better with the economy and they thought that. But then he started to do things that were quite undermining their idea of what civic duty and citizenship is. And that freaks them out. And things like, constantly disparaging veterans and shit, that's poison to old people. So they are moving towards Kamala Harris.
Can I give you my 2 cents on this?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I appreciate what you said, and I think what you're saying was right for a particular period of time. I'm not looking for any votes, so I don't have to read Kamala and say everyone. The fact of the matter is, dude, America is dumber than it before. America is unhealthier than before. America is more uneducated than it was.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not
And
saying that
RFK
all
will
Americans are
change
like
that.
this. There's a sliver
Health
of
part,
American
anyway.
population that is ultra educated, way more than they ever were. So I'm not saying that America as the entire country
Yes,
is,
yes.
but like there's a big section, bro.
Yeah.
And in the post social media world, these boomers, they don't care about the sort of stuff that you're talking about nearly as much. For example, you brought up like the fact that Trump doesn't admit that he lost the election. I know that's a big issue for educated older people, include educated younger people too. But for a lot of people, they have this mindset of fuck you to politicians. And they don't care about that. They enjoy the fun. And these older people, bro, they are retiring with less money than that particular older people that you're talking about were. They're hungrier, they're dumber, and they're also like, they don't care about like ethics and normalcy the same way that the generation before them did.
But that's the whole thing. You're seeing this divide between, and this is happening across the planet, educated and uneducated. And it's a very strange flip that is happening. This is not just America. This is Western world.
Right.
And sorry,
But, yeah.
and just like and it's not like exclusive to the US. If you see like a lot of countries, these populist leaders, they're coming despite the older generation, you know, their perceptions of like, oh, we need normalcy. We need like, you know, everywhere they're electing people that are like saying fuck you and being really rash. Whether it be like Argentina, Europe, US, Australia. Like, why is there a reason that Malcolm Turnbull was like booted out and you get more people like Scott Morrison and Peter Dutton? Dude, that's what these oldies want now. This older generation, and I've said this often to even my parents, like this older generation that we have now is much inferior to their parents. Their parents had a lot more principled lives. They believed in laws, and maybe they also lived at a times where economically they were doing better. But this new older generation, dude, this WhatsApp, social media, like oldies are now on Facebook and in like these weird rabbit holes, dude. They don't care.
That is
they
true.
will love Trump. So I'm just saying that there is no like monolith of ethical older person now.
No, please don't misunderstand me. That demographic is overwhelmingly the larger demographic. And what we are really seeing is that dividing rift between educated and uneducated. However, that contingency of old school Republican that I'm talking about is still alive, and he needs that slither of that old person to vote for him. That slither of old person, I bet you'll go back and you'll look at the demographics, is not going to be voting for Trump. This is the same type of person that was voting for Nikki Haley over Trump and saying, I am not going to vote for Donald Trump if that happens. And again, you look at those numbers and you say, that was 20% of the Republican vote. That's horrendous. For your own partisan people that go to a primary where the candidate is a shoo-in and is going to wipe the floor, for 1 out of 5 people to say, I don't want to vote for him. Dude, even if half of those people end up voting for Trump and half of them don't, that is very, very bad news for the Republicans.
You know where you can get inroads in that? I actually agree with you. That there is a sliver of population and that can play a huge role in the election.
And where are those old people? Nevada and Arizona.
Yeah, they can be in like swing states. What I'm saying is, like, I think there's a better possibility of you making inroads with Nikki Haley women than Nikki Haley men. Nikki Haley men, I think, will just sit out this one. If they don't like Trump, I think a lot of them will vote for Trump because they have that Republican tribal instinct. But if they, let's say they think his behavior is reprehensible and stuff, they'll just sit out. But the Nikki Haley women is something that Kamala could get. Because, dude, when it comes to like civility and ethics, men have lost it, dude. Women can still have a bit of it. Women still understand like, oh, you don't have to be an absolute cunt all the time. Like, but men, dude, men are gone, morally bankrupt.
I don't think
young,
that's the case.
Everyone, dude.
I don't think it's.
I don't know.
And even the ones that
honestly
consider themselves morally, they're just following a different lefty tangent of themselves.
Yeah, no, that's true. But I think that, dude, I'm telling you, America does have a large contingency of cunts that are like exactly the same as John McCain, but not dead yet. That old man exists. I've met that old man.
But it's shrinking, bro. It's shrinking so much.
It's
You can
shrinking.
see
It's shrinking.
that's
But
why
it's still like it's a block that this is the whole thing.
Republican
It's a reliable block that comes out every election. Whereas the young people that Trump is trying to court and bring into it, as you were saying, is like this is. It's like you're really doing it on hard mode to try and get elected with those guys. Just a bunch of broccoli-haired cunts sitting there being like, oh, yeah, it's funny, man. Like,
there's those, but it's not all broccoli. Just look at the Republican primaries. How many of those John McCain type dudes even come close to it? I'm not saying win the Republican nomination, but even come close to it. You had, who were Republican big contenders to Trump? You had that dude who wears cowboy boots in Florida. What's his name? DeSantis.
Yeah, DeSantis.
DeSantis is also isn't some old school civil Republican. He's the guy who like kind of made MAGA movement a bit more, palatable. That was the second one, right? And then you had Nikki Haley. Dude, and Nikki Haley, I guess, is a bit of that, but like I think she only represents certain interests of that group. You can just see like they're all, even the ones that are coming close to Trump, are just appealing to the base. Like that old person,
because that is the base.
Old
now.
school establishment.
That's what I'm saying.
Shrunk, bro.
It shrunk.
I think it died with Mitt Romney.
But this is the whole thing. Exactly. Mitt Romney has left the Republican Party. You know what that means? The Republican Party isn't a party anymore. It is just the party of Trump. And it's because Trump is like 80% of Republicans, and they never wanted to admit it. And that establishment type of Republican was kind of able to navigate that huge horde of psycho to vote for them by just giving them a bit of red meat here and there. But he just, he opened up the coals and was just like, free butcher. There you go. As much fucking meat as you want. And so they obviously all moved towards him. And that is the majority of that party. But as you know, Ali, politics is all about creating coalitions. And if your coalition is just the cult of Trump, and you have gotten rid of all of these things, regardless of how tiny they are, slither here, a slither there, the math starts adding up. Especially when, in 2016, it was basically a fluke that you got in the first place. It was not some resounding victory for Trump. And ever since then, he's been hemorrhaging votes.
Dude, I'm of this opinion as well. Whenever Trump's story comes to a conclusion, whether it be after tomorrow, whether it be after 4 years, maybe it'd be after 8 years, because he could decide if he loses now to come back again.
Can he? Oh, he can run again,
and
Yeah,
he
technically
will.
he can.
will
if
for
he loses
sure.
this,
dude. Oh, so I thought the Trump story's over. He's
No
hanging.
way.
He's hanging there. He's hanging
He's a
on.
fader.
But what I'm
Oh
saying
my
is,
God.
whenever his story concludes, Republican parties will go through a few years of soul searching and figuring out what the next step is. Because you're right, he's built this cult of personality type thing, and everything is centered around him. Not even his playbook, because his playbook is like non-existent, really. He just changes all the time.
You can't out-Trump Trump.
Yeah, you can't.
No.
So he is the central force that is bringing everyone together. Whenever he goes, Democrats will have like a few years, kind of like Obama years, 8 years of like, we've won the cultural wars. What's happening here? Everything is gone. But it's going to make a comeback because leaders die, movements die, the sentiments always, like, because MAGA movement is just a new version of the Tea Party movement.
Yeah. It's Reagan's slogan.
Exactly. So they'll always stay together. But Democrats, if Democrats win now, 4 years, sure, they get to avoid, Trump's influence in the government. They get to avoid, further stacking up of Supreme Court judges with crazy personalities and all of that. But it's going to be a difficult road ahead for them because the next 4 years, the MAGA movement is going to make their lives miserable and probably come back after 4 years.
But here's the problem, though. And this is something that and we are actually talking about it a lot, so I'm very interested that you're kind of, I think, sensing this subconsciously as well. I'm starting to get into, the older that I get, yes, media bias does kind of shape people's opinions. I get that. But the older I get, the more I'm starting to think it's demographics, dude. you really cannot escape your culture. And we are, whether we like it or not, we are absolute stereotypes of exactly the type of person that we are. And it's amazing when someone says, like, this is your demographic, and you think, fuck, they've pegged me down to a T, right? Like, you can predict how these movements are going to vote.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that Tea Party movement, that MAGA movement, yes, it's becoming more and more rabid. It's also becoming a smaller and smaller percentage of the overall American public, which means that they're going to have that section of society on lock. They're going to win a bunch of seats, but they are becoming an uncompetitive party that can't win elections. And, like, I swear to God, you can just look at the Democrats have just been marching into victory after victory after victory after victory, and people say that it's abortion. Yes, that's all well and good, but it's also the fact that these demographics are going to vote in a certain way based on the kind of cultural surrounding that they're in. And that cultural surrounding is shrinking. And so I'm telling you, this is why I was always of the opinion that if Biden fucking stayed in, he would still be winning tomorrow. That is still my prediction to this day. I was wrong about the fact that he stepped down, but I swear to God, it doesn't matter who the Democratic nominee is. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it matters because Trump has kind of like changed it into that cult of personality for himself. But in terms of those demographics, as Ali's saying, they'll take on a different flavor, but they're going to behave in the same way.
You know, what you've brought up is a very interesting point, but I think truly we'll know the answer to that after the elections when the data comes in. I would have 100% agreed with you 2 to 3 years ago. But something remarkable has happened, bro, and you have to give Trump some level of credit for it. Like, not in a... just the minorities. You would have assumed that America is on its process to become majority minority. The minorities always tend to support Democrats because of their interests. So this is a failing battle, right? That was the conventional wisdom. That, sure, Republicans can win now. When Trump won in 2016, there was like article headlines like the last wave of the Protestant movement, all of that stuff, you know? But I think Trump has done something remarkable, which is that he has proved that this minority vote is not Democrat forever. You can switch it, which is why, like, a candidate like Kamala Harris, a black woman, is having a tough time convincing black men, Latinos, and other minorities that she's the perfect candidate. That means that there's a chink in this like argument where, with the right candidate, you could switch the demographics around. And this is the power of social media. Having said that, I can't confirm you this theory of mine. What you said still remains to be true. And we can only confirm this when the election data results come in and we see exactly how many minorities did vote for Trump. It's one thing to say that, you know, I'm getting the feels, the polls are saying this. But when you have the actual results, and if you do see whether Kamala wins or, like, let's say Kamala wins, but you get shown that, like, oh, minority actually voted for Trump in large numbers, you're like, well, if I was a Republican, I'd be like, okay, that's really good news. That means we have a future.
Yeah.
That means it can be done.
Yeah. And if they're going to have a future with anything, it'll be the Latinos.
Yeah.
The Latinos is the thing that they need to start switching into that
And
vote.
blacks too, I think.
I think that blacks is sort of just a phenomenon of the fact that it is Trump. And you listen to blacks talking about Trump, and I can't repeat any of it for obvious reasons. But, like, you know, you can imagine what black comedians say about him, and it makes a lot of sense why they're attracted to Trump. And you're right, there's that thing of like, but the thing is, look, come on. Trump is a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon. There is not going to be anywhere near anywhere near as charismatic, anyone anywhere near as watchable as that man.
You
it's
reckon
not
though?
going to happen.
No one on Earth.
Can we also admit?
Don't you think? Like, have you ever seen anything as entertaining as Trump?
It's
ever?
so weird because on paper he shouldn't be. You know, it's
why?
Like it's not like it's not like anything new. It's just 80s America. It's like. You're right. It's his personality is this right, like, concoction of things to make him like this sort of personality, but it almost should. I don't know. It seems like he shouldn't be. It's like there's nothing particularly engaging.
I have another question about this, and I think because the elections haven't happened, and a lot of people are scared to say this, But this is a genuine question. I've been bringing it up. We've spoken about this on the Uplate in Lens. Sure, Trump has a, let's say, charismatic personality that attracts black men. He's a billionaire, successful and all that. But dude, like, it's a bit scary to say this, but like, you have to admit, part of the reason why they're going for Trump is straight up misogyny. I know this is gonna sound weird, but like,
They voted for Clinton, man.
I'm misogyny, bro.
No, they voted for Clinton. Hillary Clinton.
This is where it gets red hot.
What?
Black on black misogyny is a thing.
Yeah.
This is what I've been saying for a long time. Black men will vote for white women, but they have a problem voting for black women.
Really? Damn.
I mean, it is getting reflected in the stats.
Yeah,
Bro,
right.
and I've been saying this for a long time. It's because if you understand, and there's part of it is like,
You got to say, at the very least, that it's a working theory.
Sure.
You got to say that it's like
dude, it has.
theory.
This is. I'm not saying they're connected, but they are related. The fact that black households have a historically high, like there's more majority of black women are single moms. Black marriages don't. There is a family like collapse happening over there.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? And I'm not saying why
Urban
it's happening or
areas.
how we can fix it. That's a whole different domain. But it is being reflected in perceptions of black men towards black women in power.
Right.
This is my, and if you watch a lot of like black content, just like black men and you, this is reflected. This is the whole beastie idea that like you should be under our control to some extent. White women is different.
right.
Any other woman is different, by the way.
No, but give me this, though. Don't you think that if it wasn't Trump and it was like Ted Cruz going up against Kamala
It'd be
Harris,
much harder,
they'd vote
yeah.
for Kamala?
It'd be
Ted Cruz
maybe,
sucks.
yeah, maybe.
They're not voting for Ted
Ted
Cruz.
Cruz
They won't-
sucks.
wait,
He's like,
maybe they won't
he's
vote
like the antithesis in terms of his personality is just,
So unlikable.
yeah.
So slimy.
Yeah. Only one that could beat him is maybe
Trump is the most
Christie.
entertaining man on earth, and Ted Cruz is the slimiest man on earth.
Yeah, it's true. You guys, by the way, I saw.
Do you remember Bill Maher's call on Ted Cruz? So good. It was just like, I feel like if you sprinkled salt on him, he'd shrivel up.
Oh, he's a
Like,
slug.
he's a slug.
By the way,
I'm just regretting what I said.
no,
No,
it's fine.
it's actually like a
fine.
plausible theory.
but
It is a
it's
plausible
just-
theory.
it's like,
but
yeah.
I think that it's like, I honestly think it has as much to do with Trump as it does Kamala.
Yeah.
Yeah.
fair.
Remember when there was that? Remember when Trump came out in 2016, and then obviously because it's Hollywood, they all had to switch their vote immediately when Trump started to become
Right.
a plausible force, and the whole Hollywood blacklisting thing was going to happen, so they had to. But they just showed rapper after rapper being like, "I'm voting for Trump, man," and they said why, and it was just like, "Cause he's a boss,
Yeah.
and America love a boss."
Yeah.
Like they just,
It's
they
reflective
just, they're
on,
just
like-
attracted to him because he is just like. He basically is a rapper. Like, he
Yeah,
just
yeah.
walks around with his
But it's
dick
not
out,
just-
just doesn't
yeah.
give a fuck what he says.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean?
And it's all, I think a lot of businessmen too, because they're just like he's rich and he's a businessman, and it just attracts.
And there's
that.
also like, you know, when it comes to business interest, someone I think
Tax
someone
cuts.
said it on HBO or like Bill Maher, and I agree with that. If you're a businessman, if you're a billionaire, right? What should you do in this situation? You don't know who's gonna win. It would be smarter for you to not pick a fight with Trump because you know if Trump wins, he's gonna come after you if you went against him. But if the Democrats win, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
There's a bit of that too, where
Yeah.
like if I'm a billionaire and if I have to choose side, first of all, I think what Elon did was stupid. Like if you
So
want to have a
crazy, dude.
sustainable
That's
life in
crazy.
business where you're gonna die and your children are gonna be like the next Rothschild, stay away from politics. Conventional wisdom. You give money to everyone, you keep contacts with everyone, but you don't overtly pick a side.
That dude is so autistic. Like,
He's done it.
like it's like, dude, don't go near a microphone. Like, unless it's a TED talk where it's very subdued, don't come near
And there's
cheery
a bunch
crowds.
of effects behind you of robots dancing.
Yes.
You need the same treatment that Tame Impala needs. You are
100%.
not a showman.
Yeah, you need the giant
the effects
orb.
to speak for themselves.
Yeah, dude, please don't speak at a rally ever again. I was going to say,
But it's very Musk, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
It's an all or nothing punt. And so far, most of Musk's all or nothing punts have worked out for him.
Yeah.
I just think this time it's not going to.
I saw a bit of him on Joe Rogan. He went on Joe Rogan again. I didn't listen to the entire podcast, but he did say, which made more sense as to why he went all in on Trump. He was saying that the Department of Justice brought, lots of cases against him. One of the cases was that he was discriminated against asylum seekers for his employment. And he was saying that we're a defense contractor. You need to be a citizen or at least a permanent resident of the U.S. to work because we're working with rocket technology. So they're just going after me. And I buy that. I buy that if you're like openly, supporting Trump on X, the Democrat-run establishment will find ways to go after you. And I think that might be one of the reasons why he might have felt that it's all or nothing. Like, if I don't go for Trump, I'm screwed.
Right.
I don't necessarily look. Maybe it is the thing of like it's fear that's motivating him, but I think that Musk has it in his head, and someone else was explaining this to me before. Musk is the old school definition of what a capitalist is, right? Like he accumulates capital and then uses it to create businesses that create some sort of value that he then uses to create other businesses that create some sort of value. You know, like the new school capitalist are sort of these prospectors that sit there and bet on markets. That's mostly what they do. They don't actually produce fucking anything.
Sure,
Musk, I know that a lot of people are going to sit there and they're going to use the same talking points that they've heard in those video essays, which is basically just the undergrad version of looking at Mr. Beast exposed videos all day. But
what do you mean? Like, what is like? You mean the defense contracting stuff?
Exposed.
Defense contracting.
He's made a living on subsidies though.
No. But that's I don't.
Or...
But again, that does not negate my point. Yeah. Getting subsidies, but directing them into things like going to Mars and creating defense companies and, expanding Tesla and all this kind of shit, that does not negate my point. Mostly people in this day and age get subsidies so that they can buy fucking real estate prospects and junk bonds and shit. Like they don't fucking produce anything.
Sure. Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Now
actually,
I still
he does
think,
produce stuff. Yeah.
I still think to this day
he's like the only person in America making stuff, probably.
That's what I think. Like, he's one of the very few. I mean, fucking Bezos isn't fucking making anything.
Well,
but he did make that.
Oh
Dick
no,
rocket.
my mistake. He made the Lord of the Rings TV show.
Yeah, shows.
Nah, he also made that Dick rocket, the one that looked like.
Oh yeah, he did do that.
Oh, that's right. No, he's trying to follow trend, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, they all are. Billionaires are all into space at the moment. They all have they used to be into evolutionary biology back in the day.
Right.
At one point, it was like ocean. Like there's fads that billionaires get.
They're really into famine for a while.
Yeah, they're just like whatever. So now they're all competing with like rocket technology.
Yeah,
it'll change, bro. It'll be something else. Might end up just being like.
But I think that he thinks that the more capital I have, the more that I can expand my businesses, and I do genuinely think that Elon Musk is motivated. You can sit there and say that it's for selfish gains or whatever, that I was the man that colonized Mars or something like that. But I do think that is what motivates that man. At the end of the day, he sits there and he thinks, all right, these fucking Democrats aren't giving me everything I want. They're fucking idiots. I'm a genius. I know how to redirect capital way better than they can. I can do it more efficiently. You can argue that when you look at SpaceX, for instance. Like NASA couldn't do anything that fucking SpaceX could do.
Yeah.
And it's because it is in the hands of one man who is able to command the capital to do whatever the fuck he wants it to do. And so I think that he just thinks if Trump gets in, he is an oligarch type that will just like owe me a bunch of fucking favors.
Dude, if Trump gets in, he's going to be in... Yeah, and he's right about that. Trump does owe him. He's literally giving people $1 million a week as a lotto for like registering to vote. So Trump will owe him a lot of favors. But man, I'm just thinking like if I'm a defense contractor and I depend on like governments giving me money to do all of this shit, it's a risky one because once the Democrats come in, my business model could just be like shite. Maybe they could like force me to sell it. They can do that stuff. They're even talking about breaking up Google. Like, who knows what could be in the future. But Musk is like a weird guy, dude. He's also like, I feel like he can be very easily swayed. Like you see him when it came to, for example, the Starlink stuff, right? When he was supposed to, when the Israel-Palestine thing happened, he initially said that he was going to give Starlink access to Palestinians to communicate. Then he gets invited on a state-level visit to Israel, and then he completely changes his mind. He's like, all of a sudden, he's like, no, it's going to be used by terrorists. I'm not going to do that. The man wields enormous amounts of power, and he is also like, he follows his interests. It's a scary proposition, and if Trump gets elected, Musk will be one of the most powerful people, if not the most powerful people in the world.
Yeah.
But
I already think that he is, though.
Dude, okay, screw that. That's fine. Check this out. If Trump wins, he's going to make RFK Jr. the Secretary of Health.
That's sick. What's wrong with that?
Very fair. I mean, it's an update from Ben Carson, isn't it?
Yeah, that's...
No, Ben Carson was at least housing.
It's done.
It's done, bro.
Where is it? I'm going to try.
Dude, what's wrong with RFK's got some good ideas on health.
It's good to see RFK on like podcast talking trash like that, but
no, but he's
mental.
But his concerns about
vaccines.
Yes, the vaccine shit. I understand that there's some discrepancies with his ideas, but in terms of like additives to food, preservatives, like food culture, monofarms,
he's a nut job. I do not trust.
No
him.
way. He's spot on with that shit. With the food stuff, he's spot on.
Yeah, he's spot on with that stuff, but I don't trust him, dude. He's eating burgers from straight.
He's eccentric. I'm way less scared of RFK than Trump.
I mean, look, I don't know. I'm just saying, like,
maybe I'm wrong. I haven't
the best choice.
I haven't deep.
Imagine if there's another pandemic and that man's behind the wheel.
That's,
I know every
actually,
like,
you know what? That is a fair point.
And while I say this,
but at least they'll be eating broccoli.
That's gonna be the best thing ever. We'll finally have some leadership. But like, no, it's gonna be insane.
I mean, at least they'll be eating broccoli whilst they're dying of whatever the latest. I don't know enough about RFK, but whenever he talks about food, I'm like, he's right. Damn it. But obviously, there's more to it.
The preservative stuff is fine.
Yeah. Preservatives, additives, artificial foods.
He wouldn't be my first choice. Let's just say.
But does he think vaccines are just bullshit?
I think my first choice would be
he doesn't think they're rubbish.
For one.
He doesn't think.
You know what? Honestly, someone who works on this channel, their dad is a trained immunologist.
Right.
Thinks that
fake news peddler.
Fake news peddler thinks that vaccines are the greatest invention in modern history, is because that's his field, but he also makes a very compelling argument as to why vaccines are so important and how much they've advanced human civilization.
Yeah.
All
it's
that kind
unbelievable.
Of stuff.
In 2024, that's a debatable topic. Dude, vaccines are amazing inventions that have served the society.
I'm not debating
so
that.
much.
I don't know. The best can openers are
We're
pretty
not
good.
in Florida. We can be open. Like, what's the next thing you're going to say? Well, he claims that antibiotics have been good, but I don't know. The jury's out.
Well, they are getting bad
Jury
too.
is out.
And that's because we're overusing
them. Yeah.
But they have... Anyway, sorry.
No, they of course.
He was saying that this was astonishing to me when I heard this. And obviously I'm going to trust this guy because he is, educated to the nines with this stuff. He was saying that RFK is spot on about all his fear-mongering about the vaccines. If you listen to what he's saying, he's right about everything that he said. His problem is that it is then immediately co-opted by the Koch brothers using all those shitty disinformation things that they use to rile up that psycho that are obviously going to be naturally attracted to him. And he is saying that RFK's points on it are just too nuanced for dumb Americans.
Right.
You know,
I don't know if it's the dumb American.
That Alf is like a great sitcom.
Understand what he says.
Huh? Because of his fucked voice.
Yeah, because like that's the other problem. He's a secretary.
He is hard to hear what he says.
I can't hear what he's saying. I refuse.
It's so hard.
You get rid of the vaccine.
Wait.
No, Jordan does
Ali,
the
you
best.
can do it better. Come on.
Make sure you can get rid of the vaccine.
No, that's...
I really don't want to see when Ali's been smoking for 4 hours. That's
Jordan is the master of RFK.
Yeah,
I can do it well.
I can try to do it, but I definitely can't do it as good as Jordan
can.
You do it very well, though. And you've got the head movements.
All right, do it.
I just think vaccines, there's a lot that I'm not an anti-vaxxer or any stage. It's a very good way to dissuade me in the press and to tar my name. And that's fine. I understand that is part of running for president. However, I would very much like people to understand that there were questionable things about the vaccine. Inquiry into this.
So good. That's just actually not even. That's not an impression. You become him.
I am him.
With that.
You are him.
Now, come on. Has your Kamala impression improved? Because we're going to need something for the next 8 years.
No, dude. You're that confident. 8 as well.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
I honestly think it doesn't matter who the Democrat is, they're going to
I think
win.
it's one day, but okay.
Nah, my it hasn't
Actually,
improved.
All right, predictions. Come on. What do you reckon, Safe Boys?
Clip that. If Kamala wins, keep playing.
But wait a sec. I don't want to move on from this vaccine stuff yet.
No, I want to. Really
Okay,
want
Why-
fine.
All right,
Fine.
hang on. Why the fuck does it speak to you? I am so bored. Here's my thing, right? When people constantly kept coming up to me and saying, how could you not speak out against the vaccines? Or why aren't you saying more about vaccines? Because I don't care. If it poisons me and kills me, so fucking what? It's one less idiot on the planet.
You have a very skewed and radical perspective of the world.
I do.
If I may,
amazing.
if I may say
If
so.
it is a death needle, great. If it saved us, well, that's a pretty impressive needle.
Dude, I made up my mind about those freaking vaccines when I was a kid. I remember my driver, I think, when I was a kid telling me this. He's like, these vaccines, they are a Western conspiracy to make all Pakistani men and women sterile. And I remember thinking, damn, that sounds pretty intense. But then I looked at the growing population, figuring I knew that guy was full of shit.
But
Straight away. I was like, dude, they're losing. What are you talking
But
about?
imagine how big it would be without the vaccine.
If anything, they're increasing more people by less people dying.
But there are examples of companies sterilizing people in Africa.
Actually, yes, there are some examples of that. Apparently,
some
actual
examples
thing
of that in
happened
the
in India
US.
too.
Right. Well, I mean, that's fucked.
In India, they actually did that.
That's fucked
a
up.
pilot project where they said it was a vaccine, and
That's-
just
dude.
the population growth was too intense.
That's
Hell, yeah.
that's worrisome.
Yeah,
but
it is.
I guess that's part of the
So
concern.
it's happened, but it's like it's like not a common occurrence or whatever.
yeah,
I don't know why you care, miss.
because it's like that's some maniacal like sci-fi shit, injecting. It's a radical. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think
No, the
not saying it's bad.
vaccines. I don't know why you care about the vaccines. Why does that speak to a certain type of person so heavily?
because
This is a defined. This is like abortion to women for a certain
It
type
is.
of man.
And
I don't
also,
know why.
usually
Because
a
it's
person that normally
invasive.
doesn't care about health.
My
at all.
body,
yeah,
my rights.
it
Is
is.
that what it's about?
I'm not anti-vax. I
No,
want
but
to say
this
that,
is,
but
this
it's
is the other dilemma. It usually bothers someone who doesn't care about their health anyway. That's the weird part.
no. I mean, I
Just fucking
Yeah.
chain smoking.
I don't know
like,
how it doesn't.
You're not
Remember
gonna
that Russell
inject chemicals
Brand
into
call?
my body.
Remember the Russell Brand call from, I can't remember which comedian we saw, but he was a flatmate of Russell Brand's in the Edinburgh Fringe back in the 90s.
Oh yeah,
Right,
what's his
yeah.
name?
And
The
he
guy
was
who
like-
does the hard quiz one.
Yeah, the hard quiz one. And he was saying,
Tom Gleason.
man, for someone who I saw who used to share needles with drunk junkies, like he
God.
seems to really care about the health effects of a vaccine.
Well, he's changed. People change. People change.
No, and he said like he literally pulled out a block of hash from his asshole in front of you and said, "Did you want to smoke some?" And he's like, "Why was this in your asshole?" And he's like, "I just got off a flight from somewhere."
Yeah.
And he's like, "That guy is concerned about health."
I mean, I guess I'm just curious about what RFK's points are, but that's a whole nother pod, so we don't have to go into it now. It's something that I'll research on my own, but like, I'm
All I
sure.
know is I can't believe that this fucking vaccine guru
Well, that's what I
was
mean.
saying RFK's
But
on the
obviously,
money. I was so shocked
But
by it.
obviously, what RFK is saying isn't that radical. Then he's probably just saying something like, "Yeah, vaccines by and large are great and have saved people from millions of diseases and polio, et cetera, COVID." But there's obviously like maybe there's imperfections, maybe there's some Machiavellian players in that.
Well, that was the crux of his argument. The crux of his argument was it was unbelievably
Yeah.
rushed, and he was saying that there was no way that
Yeah.
you could work any contingency into that at all.
Yeah, and that's fine. You know, that doesn't disqualify the good things.
Big
about
pharma
vaccines.
is pretty insane. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to
Pfizer, etc. And but yeah, like I think it's something.
Hey boys,
that,
we're running over time.
yeah, something that I'll dive
Should
into.
we? What are
time.
the ending remarks?
Well, we've got this is quite. You got to listen. What other podcasts are you going to have this level of diversity where you've got one rabid Trump supporter and misogynist against brave black women?
Oh, God.
You've got an RFK
brave black man.
nutbag, and you have one libtard. Where else are you going to get that?
RFK nutbag. He got us down in one.
Got us down. Come on, that's us. In a nutshell, that is us.
Kind of is.
Just miscategorize me. I just want to, for the record, I'm not against
So you're
women.
also a libtard.
I'm against the men.
Right, yeah, he
Black
did say
women are
that.
fine. They're
did say
very
that.
reasonable. They're also supporting Kamala, and they'll also support anyone. It's the black men that I have
Right, he
some
doesn't like
issues
being in the
with.
same electoral tent as these black men. Thank you for clarifying that, Ale.
right,
Make sure that
so-
you sign up to the
Wait,
uplay.
so last one. Final prediction? Give
No, I
us
think that Kamala is going to win, and she's going to win comfortably.
How many electoral votes?
Man, I went back on sports bet.
He's back, baby.
I'm back.
He's back. Hey, I
don't
lost
say
on the races today, by the way, on the Melbourne Cup.
Why were you even bothering? You don't know anything about horses. I hate this. I hate how you get swept up in the fever of whatever stupid niche sport comes through.
know.
Yeah, it's 2 up. Oh, I lost $100. Yeah, it's Canadian shuffleboarding. Yeah, I
was
understand
due.
what a broom is.
Yeah, I was due. Yeah. Well, I wasn't.
Wait, so
due.
what's the electoral map looking like?
Uh,
Give me bullish.
yeah. Bullish.
What's bullish?
Huh?
What are you talking about, bullish?
This is the bets that I made.
Oh.
Bullish. Okay, this is
Wait,
it, right?
explain first time what bullish means
Yeah.
in this context.
Well, you know what a bull and bear market is, yeah?
No, I do not.
Okay, so a bear market is...
Something to do with vaccines, or?
When you're going hard at a bet,
You're making it really hard for me to try and
Sorry, go on.
translate this
Just
into Miss Love
go
so
on,
it pays
just-
attention.
Just go on. Go. It's fine. I'm kidding.
Okay, like a
I'm
bear
joking.
market
Yeah.
for vaccines would
No,
be
yeah.
when there is a kill rate of 50%.
Oh no! Just give it. It's what you're gonna give it to me straight, Doc.
bullish means you're being ambitious.
Okay. Oh, I know what the word means.
Like the stock market, right? Like, so a
Yeah,
bullish
okay.
market is the
Arab.
investors are confident.
Yeah,
And a bear market is the investors are not confident.
Okay, fine.
So my bear market is that Kamala wins by over 300 votes.
That is
300 college votes.
Oh, just so you know,
I don't get the college thing.
270 is when you win the election. So
Oh,
he's saying conservatively, he's
Yeah,
saying like
that she'll
the
win
worst case scenario
by
for Kamala
80%.
is that she wins 300.
Okay.
In a,
No. Okay, look. The worst case scenario is that she wins and gets 270 something. But I think that realistically, this is what I mean by bear market. Realistically, I think that she's probably going to win around the 300 mark.
Right.
And then I think, out of this world, maybe she wins by 330. But man, I hope that she wins 330 because if she wins by 300 votes, then I may back my Biden money.
Oh, sick.
And if she wins by 330 votes, then Jordan's back in the green, baby. He lives another day.
This is a problem gambler that you are observing right here. Please pay attention to the ads at the end where it's like, think about what else you could be buying. Just consider that.
yeah, think of
I'll
what
tell
else
you what you
do.
could be buying. More fun.
Listen, he's getting other people on. We're like, I'm not going to say who, but someone from our ecosystem messaged me
Yeah.
like a few hours before the Queensland election saying should I put $500 on Queensland, Jordan, on Labor?
They were externalizing. They're a problem gambler as well, and they were just looking for
they're not.
validation. I said, don't take my word for it, but I think they're going to win. And then I said, but I always make this as the proviso. This is my think about what else you could buy. I'm always just being think about the fact that Jordan is never ever right. with
Exactly.
any investments
Dude, can
or
I just-
gambling.
can I
So
just-
do
yeah.
exactly
Dude,
the
no,
opposite.
but this is the
Dude,
crazy
okay,
part
yeah.
is, dude, the crazy part about this is he's recommending this bet when the polls are showing that there's almost a guarantee loss. This was the same thing when he phones me. He says, dude, this is the company that's going to go off. We need to buy stock. into
Silver.
this."
Yeah.
And I Google and the first thing I see It's about to close down.
You suck ass.
Dude,
All right, so Trump is going to win.
Yeah, I was going to say, the fact that he saying Kamala's going to win probably means she's not.
Yeah.
And I had to tell this person, I was like,
I am the
look,
Kramer of this chat.
Yeah,
this would be, I would not do this bet at all. Like, the odds are so low. It's like not worth it. And just, like, if you.
So funny.
feel
I love
like
your
doing
gusto,
it-
though, kid. I love the gusto.
No, you know what? Go with Ali. Ali has.
No, don't go in because I genuinely.
No,
promise
I'm
you-
going with my own vibe.
Yeah, and I promise you, as
don't
much
need
as Jordan
anyone's
is
help.
making it out that I'm a Trump fan, I would not be happy if Trump won. I honestly
Yeah.
swear to Allah, I would not be happy if that guy won.
No, but what I'm saying
not
is
super
that-
enthusiastic about Kamala like Jordan is, but I definitely think she's the better option here.
Yeah. I don't know how to predict the seats. Here's my prediction. It'll be Trump will win with an even slimmer margin than with Hillary. That's my prediction. Like, as in...
So that's what you think. You think he's going to just scrape in?
Like,
And what do you
to a
think?
point. Here's my further prediction.
I think it won't be a scrape. I actually side
you-
with you on that. I think the polls are not an accurate representation of what it will be. I think I would not be surprised if a candidate gets 300 plus.
Really?
I don't think it's going to be 270s, and I think the final result will be less close than people think it is.
Yeah, I think so
Even
too.
if it goes either way. I'm not saying
I'm
that
just
it'll go in
vibing
one
it.
direction.
I don't know.
And you know what else I think? If I'm going to get very conspiratorial, I think the pollsters, they're saying that, oh, yeah, we're just overcompensating. We don't want to be wrong like we were in 2016, and that's the reason. I think...
They'll be wrong because of that.
No, I think that they want Kamala Harris to win, and if they put out the polls like they did with Hillary Clinton of, oh, it's a shoo-in, you don't need to go out.
Right.
I think that's
Bro,
probably...
That could be
have
true.
you also heard this new thing? Apparently the pollsters are just making stuff up now.
Right.
So what's happened is, the problem is, there's a view. I'm not saying this is like accurate, but they're saying that all these pollsters mostly are just straight up lying. And they're lying because in 2016, they got it wrong, right? Incredibly. And ever since, their priority isn't, the pollsters' priority isn't to get the most accurate representation of what the results will be. Their priority is, how do we keep getting hired next season? And we keep getting hired next season by reducing, like by claiming a victory. If we say it's too close and someone wins, we go like, well, it was close and they won. No one's upset. But if we say Trump's going to win and then Kamala wins, we get discredited. So people don't hire us for next time.
What a
That
weird,
makes a lot of
what a
sense.
weird career, pollster. I want to be a pollster. It's like, what?
You should see them all. They're the most BuzzFeedy nerds.
I didn't know
They
that.
are gross people.
I didn't know that was a career.
That's what that type of nerd wants, don't they? That type of nerd wants a job that is just completely obfuscated in numbers. You know what they are? They're the modern day on-trail soothsayers, killing a bird and then looking at the fucking guts. That's what they are.
I don't even know what that is.
It's just like a thing that nerds have done throughout history to avoid working. That's what they do. And
Well,
so
they
spend
killed
their whole
birds
life-
and look at like palm reading or something. Or
Yeah. You don't know about that?
No, that's crazy.
It's an old thing. They did a lot in the Roman army. They
Oh,
have some old
of
soothsayer there. They
course.
shoot an eagle out of the sky that
Gotcha.
going to win tomorrow.
Yeah, that kind of shit.
All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining us tonight. But this isn't the end of it. Tomorrow morning, starting 11 p.m., 11 a.m. Am I right about that? Well, a little hazy on the time. You're
some
going to get
point.
some marketing. But Jordan is going to be streaming the live election reactions on his Friendly Jordy's channel, the main channel.
Huh? Never
so make
heard of
sure
it.
you follow that. Even if you're at work, tell your boss to fuck off because you're watching that.
Don't say fuck
And
off.
Yeah,
tell
he's a
your
bum.
tell your boss to piss off.
Don't say that either.
Yeah.
Just say I'm busy. Just say that.
Hey, that's also bad.
Yeah.
Go on.
Just quit
And
your
then,
job.
and
Quit,
then,
quit,
and then,
quit.
and then fuck his wife. All right, do that.
Why assume it's a man?
if she's willing.
Well, you know, if it's if he's married to another man, you fuck that man, even if you're a heterosexual. All right,
Orgy,
just
orgy.
really stick it to him.
But wait. When you're done with that, by around 1 to 2 p.m., that stream is going to be handed over to the Friendly Jordy's podcast. So then you come back on Twitch or on Friendly Jordy's podcast YouTube channel and watch the remaining live stream on that. Hopefully, by the end of that stream, we will have the next president.
Can you imagine like shock horror? It's John Howard somehow. It's like, and an independent has come through for the win. He's like, like
Yeah,
it.
Jill Stein is about to win.
I had to sense that the electorate wanted some change.